Good afternoon. My name is Janie. If you do not get a job that you have applied for, and you go on a job interview, it's a good possibility the reason that you did not get this job is because of the way you projected yourself on the job interview. Today, I will give you tips on what to do at a job interview and also what to do after a job interview. A person wants to get the job that they want, and this is how to do it. First of all, before you go on a job interview, you have to be prepared. The employer will ask you all kinds of questions. Make sure you have answers to these questions. One question that he will most likely ask you, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Don't ever really tell him a weakness. Your weakness could be turned into something positive. What I mean by that is, if he asks you what your weakness is, say, my weakness is that I'm too thorough. I work too hard. That's your weakness. Also, he'll ask you your positive. Everybody has positive things to say about themselves. Do not be afraid to say good things about yourself. That's what an employer wants to hear. Turn a negative into a positive when answering those questions. He'll ask you, what do you know about the company? My second point is do a research on that company. Go on the internet, ask your friends. There's plenty of information on the internet, and also people that you know will have information about that company. One of the questions he'll probably ask you is, what do you know about my company? You'll have a really good answer to give him if you have done your research on that particular question. Also, do a self-assessment. What I mean by self-assessment is, what can I bring to the table? How can I make your company succeed? There's always something that you can give to them. That's what the employer wants to know is, what can you do for me? So make sure you have all your strengths to tell him what you could offer to him. Another important thing is to have your resume updated. In my experience in the employment offices, I have seen that many people bring resumes that are outdated. On a resume, they would have a place that they worked 4 or 5 years ago. That makes a big difference to the employer. He will see that this person is now on the ball. That could keep you from getting a job as well. So make sure your resume is up to date. Make sure you have good paper. Those things count. Check over your resume. I've seen resumes that forget the telephone number. They don't have a telephone number on there. How can an employer reach them if they don't have a telephone number? Another really important thing, too, is to make sure that you have your correct email address. Also, it is very important to make sure that on your answer machine, if a company calls you and they hear something that's like a song, no one wants to listen to a song for 5 minutes. They'll just hang up. I had an employer that called me for one of our students who had applied for a job. I work at a college and I assist the students in finding employment. He called me, a really prominent employer in the St. Louis community. He had told me that he had called one of our students, and on the student's answer machine was a bebop song that was very derogatory toward women. So, of course, that person did not get the job. He said he just hung up, but he just wanted me to make sure that student knew about that. So make sure your answer machine is something that's appropriate for very professional, put it that way. Also, dress is very important. When you come in, make sure your clothes are clean, your clothes is ironed, your shoes, just for that day. If you just do it for that day, make sure your shoes have no scuff marks. Those things are important. Also, make sure you dress appropriately for the job. You dress for the job that you want to get, not the job that you maybe had in the past. For instance, with women, one employer told me that women and men should always wear suits. Even if you're applying for a factory job, put a suit on. That impresses the employer when you really look the part. So that's important to dress appropriately. No flashy clothes, no bright flowers. One lady I work with, she applied for a job that she really wanted really bad, and she had a very nice suit on. She had a shirt on. The shirt had the only thing she had was that the shirt had lace at the top. She thought it was appropriate. So once she didn't get the job, of course, and then she found out the reason that she did not get the job was because of that lace blouse that she had. That cost her the job. So you have to dress the part for job interviews. Also, a part of the dress to me is to go with a smile. You go with a smile and a positive attitude. In conclusion, you have 15 to 20 minutes to project yourself on job interviews. That could be the future in your whole future in the workforce. So make sure you put your right foot forward, have a positive attitude, have a winning attitude, have all your questions together, review the company, make sure you know about their company. So if he asks you questions about the company, what do you know about the company, you will have this information. Make sure you have all your strengths, and also make sure you dress appropriately. If you do those things, I believe you will get the job that you have always wanted, and you will have a great and bright future.